We start Total Football this afternoon, though, with the big Super Sunday game at Anfield, where Liverpool take on rivals Manchester United. Ruben Amorim will be speaking to the media this afternoon. We will chat to Daniel Kahn ahead of that news conference in just a moment. But first of all, let's head to Liverpool's training ground. Vinny O'Connor is there. Vinny, you spoke to Arne Slot this morning. Liverpool, of course, lost their last 3 games in all competitions before the international break. How did Slot reflect on those recent struggles?
Yeah, Joe, I don't think he takes them in isolation. He's looking at the course of the season as a whole, really, and the fine margins that have gone against Liverpool in the last 3 games probably went in their favour in the previous 7 before that. And he's looking at Liverpool's performances as a whole. He feels there needs to be an improvement across the board, really, certainly in terms of the goals that they're conceding at the moment. And he's far from happy at the amount of opportunities they're allowing, certainly the amount of crosses that they've allowed into the box that have created those opportunities for opposing sides as well. But at the same time, I think there's an underlying defiance from the Liverpool head coach that maybe things aren't as bad as some would have you believe.
Results don't lie. If you lose 3 times in a row, we have to do better. But I think these players that have experienced so many things don't wake up at night thinking, wow, we've lost 3 times. We need to be aware of that. We are aware of that, and we have to react to that. But maybe after losing 3 times, you're hoping for that sparkle or this 1 or 2% more. Not only from us, also from our fans on Sunday.
Wonderful sight and exhilarating sound. This place rumbles as it does only for this collision of the historically mighty. This for each is always the one.
I look forward to every single Premier League game, but maybe even more towards the Man United one, because I know how special it is, and I've experienced it last season, how special of a game it is. We know that it's probably the game that's been watched the most all over the world. So yeah, it's special to be part of it. But in the end, it's also a game where we have to be at our best, because United, in my opinion, has had a better start of the season than maybe the league table is showing. So yeah, very interesting game, and a game to look forward to.
And Vinny, of course, big games often require big moments from big players. Liverpool smashing the British transfer record for Alexander Isak to deliver those moments. Do you think now is the time to start judging his performances in a Liverpool shirt?
I think it could well be, Joe. We're looking at that Liverpool front line as a whole as well. When we're talking about big moments, producing results, of course, go back to the game against Chelsea and that defeat for Liverpool, the 3rd on the trot, as we talk about. There were moments there for Mo Salah as well, the kind of moments that you'd expect him to take, but he wasn't able to take them at that point. And that's why Liverpool, in essence, I suppose, or certainly part of the reason why Liverpool find themselves on that 3-game losing streak. Now, when it comes to Alexander Isak, of course, we know because of his protracted move from Newcastle United that he had no pre-season. Liverpool have been trying to squeeze that in, whilst, of course, in the midst of a Premier League campaign, and a campaign in which they're looking to retain their Premier League title. However, he has been able to get minutes, of course, in that Liverpool side. It's been built up gradually over the course of the international break. Of course, he was able to get a couple of 90 minutes in for Sweden as well. So now it appears, according to Arne Slot, that Alexander Isak has got his pre-season out of the way effectively now, so maybe now is the right time to start judging his performances.
I think now he's had his 5-6 weeks of pre-season, which is normal for every player, especially if you've been out for 3 or 4 months. So fitness-wise, I think he's now close to the level he should be, and now I think we can judge him in the best, in a fair way from now on. So I know how this industry works. If he plays there twice and doesn't score, then that's not what you're hoping for. Of course, you're hoping if they go to the national teams that they score goals, like Cody did, like Virgil did, like Dominic did, and like McAllister did. Do I forget a few? Probably. But I think his pre-season may be finished. Now he's played a few games, 70, 80, 90 minutes. So let's see where he is in the upcoming weeks.
So this weekend, we're expecting to see a more match-sharp Alexander Isak. We won't be seeing Alisson, of course. He remains out, and there's no real indication as to when he might be available for selection once again. And on top of that, of course, though, we are expecting to see Konate training. He had that quad injury, but we'll see whether or not he'll get some kind of idea as to whether or not he's ready to return against Manchester United. Of course, this weekend we will be at training at around about 12:30. We'll be bringing you those pictures live from training. And Ryan Gravenberch, we're told, no underlying issues there after he was brought off at half-time in the Netherlands midweek victory over Finland.
Vinny, thank you for now. Let's go from the Liverpool side of things to the Manchester United side of things. Then Daniel Kahn is there for us. And Dan, Amorim has had public backing from Sir Jim Ratcliffe during the international break. Do those comments help give him time, or do they actually put even more scrutiny on him to pick up results?
Afternoon, Joe. I mean, I don't think it puts any more pressure or scrutiny on Ruben Amorim. I think we'll probably appreciate the public backing from the co-owner, Sir Jim Ratcliffe, essentially saying that he wants to give him more time to turn the fortunes around here at Carrington and at Manchester United. He said he'd be willing to give him 3 years to prove that he is an elite coach. But in truth, the season so far has been a bit of a rollercoaster. And as they prepare for what is their biggest game of the season so far against Liverpool on Sunday, I think the question for Ruben Amorim is just unsure of which United we will see on Sunday. Will it be the combative, intense United that we saw against Chelsea and even Sunderland just before the break, or will it be something more similar to the disappointing performances against Manchester City and Brentford? There's a few selection dilemmas I think Ruben Amorim will be asked about this afternoon. More importantly, I think the most important one will be Senna Lommans, the goalkeeper, who made his debut against Sunderland before the break. Quite a commanding performance that led to the Old Trafford crowd chanting, "Are you Peter Schmeichel in disguise?" I think a little bit tongue-in-cheek, but I do think that shows just how much the fans appreciated the young Belgian's debut. So whether he will continue his second appearance at Manchester United at Anfield on Sunday, I think that will be a topic, as well as just finding out a few other fitness issues. I was at training yesterday and didn't see the likes of Lisandro Martinez and Nuasar Mazraoui, so we'll get updates on them as Ruben Amorim previews what is a huge game as United look to finally attempt and get back-to-back wins in the Premier League under Ruben Amorim. It hasn't happened since May 2024. Can they do it at Anfield? Well, we'll hear it from the Manchester United boss from just after 1:15.